got the payas, and Mom wears the wig, but he's got that tough guy strut from the Lollipop Guild. Right. Oh, she told you to leave?
It reminds me so much of Clinty's.
Okay.
Me and Clinty's.
Can you just hang in there a little bit? Is it 8 o'clock? Is it 8 o'clock already? 8:07. 8:07. Yeah, give them a call. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, give me a call if you can't. You know, and we'll have to get somebody else. There's some I'll stay a long time without the veil of al.
Knows damn well who John Berger is because he fucking makes sure everybody knows damn well who he is. Arguably the neediest per individual in the scene, but also rather talented.
That's best in town. No, not Berger, that one is too much. It's too big, too boisterous, calls too much attention to itself, and warns you of its flatulent presence yards away. It is too cheesy, not much of a mouthful. Nobody could ever hope to complete a sandwich such as that. That burger is dangerous to you and to all others. There should be medical warnings concerning... Dance on your knees! Dance! Dance on your knees! Dance! Dance on your knees! 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 Knees!
I'm going to do it as well because I'm drunk and I don't give a fuck. But I'll tell you the story about Adam and Eve as far as I can go till they're actually ready. See, in the very beginning...
Dear Lord, dear Lord, please. Please kill everyone. Please kill everyone. Please kill everyone. Please kill everyone. Please kill everyone I hate. Please kill everyone I hate. Please kill everyone I hate. Please kill every stay. Come on down. Waiting for you. Come on down. Save the place for you. Come on down. Everybody loves you here. You're gonna like it. Come on down. Oh, come on.
How long have you been playing tennis?
Let's see.
It actually helped a lot.
15. This festival, which goes on twice a year at the SideWalk, once in the winter and once in the summer, has been going on here for 22 years, well, 21 years, 22 years, we're in our 22nd year. It's over 40 festivals. It's always a fun time here at the SideWalk. We have a great lineup tonight. I will read it off really quickly, backwards going forwards. We have Gabriel, we have Rooster, we have Chicken Leg, we have Eugene Ripper, we have Joe Ryan, we have the John Berger Tribute Hour. Yeah! We have Flying Dodo Society, we have Peter Dizozza, and entertaining us and hosting this evening. It gives me great pleasure to announce at the SideWalk, always great to have him back on our stage, Myron the Magnificent!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your applause. Yes, it's true. My name is Myron the Magnificent, and I'm the resident magician here at SideWalk Cafe, no matter what you've heard. Stewie the Stupendous is not the resident magician here. He hasn't been here in months. I think it's been years, actually. No matter what you've heard, I am the resident magician here at SideWalk. We've got a great evening ahead of you. You heard the bands. Among them tonight are the Flying Dodo Society, Joe Crow Ryan, Chicken Leg, and Rooster. We're calling this a foul weather event. There's other acts as well, including Gabriel, and it's going to be a really good show. I'm sorry. I get kind of nervous. The doctor told me that when I get nervous on stage like this, that I should have some salt, so I bring my salt with me. He told me I should have exactly 1,000 grains of salt, right? Oh, that was 1,001. So the only thing is, he told me that I needed to take it with bicarbonate of soda. Does anybody have any bicarbonate of soda? No? Well, then forget it. I'm not going to have the salt. But I'm also not going to waste the salt, ladies and gentlemen. No. Thank you for your applause. Now, our first performer tonight, beside being a terribly fabulous entertainer, is very special to me because we go way back. We met, I think it was at the Sahara or the Sands in the 80s.
Yes.
And
The
Peter,
60s.
Peter was working on the, he was working as the musical director of the Kit Carson Revue. That was one of those, Kit Carson Showgirl Revue, which was one of those nude showgirl revues, and Kit Carson used to tease Peter by twirling her tassels right over his head, you know. And she was age 82 by that point, so her tassels were twirling a little lower. And in any event, Peter became my musical director. We performed together all around the world, including most recently at the New York City Fringe Festival, where we had a great time. I've got that last payment for you, Peter. Do you take air miles? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a fabulous entertainer, a regular here at SideWalk Cafe, a brilliant musician, Mr. Peter Dizozza.
Welcome, everyone.
Calling everyone I know to meet me for a quiet moment. Calling everyone I know, don't hate or leave me on my own. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where do we go when the lights are low and the four winds blow us around? That's when we stop. We need a quiet moment. Stop, feet on the ground. Pardon me, sir, but you look familiar. Your features stir and astound. Shouldn't you stop? You need a quiet moment. Stop, what have you found? Your inner light is flickering, ever so slight. With other lights ablazing, it is not quite as bright. The wealth of love hides love that is right. If I could only find you in the dead of the night. Where do we go when the lights are low and the four winds blow us around? That's when we stop. We need a quiet moment. Stop, feet on the ground. Stop, we need a quiet moment. Stop, feet on the ground. Welcome, everyone. So, what came over us at that time? It's a quiet moment, and we have a song of great disturbance. There is a question as to what key we're in, and that's how we express it.
I'm frightened and confused, try to understand. I am like a foreigner in a foreign land. I require a gentler touch and a softer light. Everything's so different here, loud and fast and bright. You're very kind, stay here and sit with me. I'll be myself again, just wait and see. It's very strange that you should turn up this way, just when I was thinking how badly I needed someone that I could talk to, someone to stay my hand and steady me. I had never known before just how far I'd come, and they do things differently in the place I'm from. It's like another country so long ago. The light was sweet and pale, the music low, and yet it's not the bright lights that scare me so. It's just that I wonder why anyone chooses a life of confusion, with all the world before them, a world of perfect order. Why this place? Why this place? When a night of blinding light and glaring color. Why this place? And why have I this place? Why is this the only place that I can call my own? Is there nowhere in the world I can call my own?
Why this place? This is the place. We're back here. Despite the shifting of the ground beneath us, we're solidly here. The last time. Oh, wait a minute. Who was singing that song? That was J.P. Evangelista. In anticipation of our new show, it's in out of the forest and into the hills. It's a new adaptation of The Great Enchanted Forest. So we'll look forward to that on stage with a new script by Courtney. Okay, and this is an experiment. Some of the newer songs we'll try to do something, but very minimal. The last time I reached for the stars, you caught me trying. And what I caught were not the stars I reached for. I found you. I'm out again to search for nothing. I only came to see what you are doing. You are the world to me. What you are up to is what the world too is up to. Now, next up from the new floater family is an observation about the sun, which I think it's always been this way. Mike, when you look up at the sun, have you noticed that the shadow that you leave behind is like black?
That's what I heard.
And the sun itself is very bright, but it's more, it's diffuse. It's no longer diffuse. It's becoming more focused.
What he said.
Does that? We have all this nature reference in the ocean floaters. So I could stay by the mic. Oh, I see. It's a very powerful mic. Hi, everybody. My name is Dizozza, and that's Mike Hill.
Hey guys. All right, let's try it.
Okay.
I used to think the sun was gold, but now I know it's white. I thought the sun was cold and but it's white. And when you bug and shame me, it's like the fall of night. It's either dark or bright. The shade is black. Your shadow shadows me. We circle round the ocean's curved horizon. No speck nor dot disturbs us in our splendid isolation. The ocean wide and clear, the only boat is ours. Daylight's shrinking, shadow stretches as the day wanes. A shadow in your shadow, I the shadow, shadow me. You cast a shadow in my shadow, 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 shadow me. Blue the sky, black the earth, red the Saturn, the sun, black the sun, blue the water, red the spring, the ocean's black. The land is gray, the wind is gray, the water green, the fire blue. I thought the sun was cold and but it's white. And when you look and shame me, it's like the fall of night. It's either dark or light. Last I see above. And this is a song toward the end of the show. In familiar territory. Let's add the texture to the harmless pause, a gesture that it's done when there was not one. Gives it gravitas and punch. I bite my hands 'cause it's too much. So you see, I made a gesture. Was it more or something less than what it seems when what we're feeling's at the bottom of the sea? And as we raise it, it will sing its melody. Its ways are strong. Its ways are long. It's bubbling now. It's out of control. It's on the rise to explode in the air. From the floor of the ocean, it rose to the sky like a hovering canopy, ready to fly. While the old man goes right on living, so afraid he will die. To prevent that, the
clouds in the sky. Through the moonlight, in the new light, as we dance under your love light. Through the moonlight, in the new light, as we dancing for your love. Okay. You give the context to the odd array of syntax, etched in stone, etched in an anchor at the bottom of the sea. We are made a gesture. Is it more or something less than what it seems when what we're feeling is at the bottom of the sea? And as we raise it, we will sing its melody. Its praise is strong. It's bubbling now. It's out of control. Powers arise to explode in the air. From the floor of the ocean, it rose to the sky like a bubbling canopy, ready to fly. While the old man goes right on living, so afraid he will die. To prevent that, he takes extra notice of the clouds in the sky. While the old man goes right on living, he must be doing something right. The old man is extra cautious, we're ablaze in the night. In the moonlight, in the new light, as we're dancing for your love light. In the moonlight, in the new light, we were dancing for your love. We were dancing for your love.
Thank you. Oh wow, I'm doing all my songs. All right. I thought we were gonna bring JP up.
Oh, what's our next song otherwise? Oh yeah, this is next for Watch for Tomorrow. And I don't know, looking to the future, I read a futuristic book by H.G. Wells. It's called The Sleeper Awakes. And he sleeps for 200 years. And he finds what...
Ben?
Yeah. How are you?
Am I screaming in this? How loud am I? Oh, you want me to be here? I can't hear. I can't hear myself.
As long as you.
I was actually impressed at how well your voice is carried, but I don't know how it is.
Free and easy. That's my style. Oh yeah. Oh, so we're on a ship and we're cutting away from the ship, and we're finally broken out into the sea. That's right. You know, I saw a ship launch on a Greek TV episode. They actually built the ship and they let it loose. In this case, the ship is actually hidden in the house, but the house is on the bay, so all they have to do is unclamp all the, the pieces holding the ship to the house, and it slides into the ocean. And while everybody is relaxing, that's what Mike does. He unclamps all the clamps and puts the, separates the house from the ship.
Okay.
We're suddenly cut adrift. We've let go of all the weight of material. No longer under the ground. We're honored you come to town. You finally made it clear. You let go of stuff considered material. Matter is falling away. And now that you're seen today, well, watch for tomorrow, your vision is clear. Light in the morning, the sun draws near. Farewell to sorrow with nothing much to fear. You're in Tomorrowland. I said, wait for tomorrow, your vision is clear. Light in the morning, the sun draws near. Farewell to sorrow answering and life is free. Don't be for though there's no catch to cling to when abundance flows with unconditional love. That's the love that only mothers bring. A mother's unlike others' love, and now it comes from up above. Sweltering and love's on fire. Good to be in an abandoned warehouse. No one else is harmed when love has burst a vein. Washed to sea, we make a buoyant effort to remain aloft, to keep ourselves above and not submerged below. In silence. Mi fa so re do, so mi fa re do. Fa sol la mi re do ti la so. Fa sol la re do so mi fa la so sol la mi. Fa mi re fa mi re fa mi re fa re. Watch for tomorrow and hope it comes true. Beg, steal or borrow, we want you to. Maybe tomorrow the sun comes shining through. For the morrow, watch for tomorrow. May all your tomorrows merge into Tomorrowland, where your tomorrows come true. I'm beat. Oh boy. Well, which brings us to our next Tomorrow song, which is part of the Out of the Forest story.
Back to the darker side of Dizozza.
And a lyric by my friend Owen Colt. Trying to make it a basic.
I remember tomorrow, I could see it in the distance, like a light that shone in front of me. It never flickered, it was so sure. Tomorrow isn't what it used to be. I'm gonna miss tomorrow. It used to run along beside me, like a friend who kept me company. It made me happy, kept me secure. Tomorrow isn't what it used to be. Maybe I took it all for granted. The future seems slanted in my favor. It's starting to quaver and fall. Now I don't recognize the damn thing at all. So I'll forget tomorrow and have a look at what today brings. With a dream, not just a fantasy, 'cause life's not like that, not anymore. Tomorrow isn't what it used to be. Tomorrow is what it's supposed to be.
So yeah, the basic. So there's another Tomorrow song. Kim, do you remember the Two Lovers on Tomorrow's Road? Yes.
All right.
So, what other Tomorrow songs do we have?
Well, in our popular culture, we have a lot of major numbers. And these are the ones that I have to... Pardon?
Could you introduce that person, please?
Okay, and next up is Kimberly Joe Mossel. So what's new, Kim? How's everything?
Detroit.
Detroit, the French city. Interesting. Of thoughts that burden us, unload lovers on tomorrow's road. No one can call us on the phone. The silent as a stone. We trust what fortune has in store. Lovers silent to the core. We're off to run a new race. The ones that we embrace, they're the ones we never hear about again. They mean us well, but we know secrets lovers never tell. That's why we say we're off. In off the touring bus. We're off. We're on a touring bus. We're off. And like a gypsy couple, we won't be heard from till we're in trouble. Some feel the thought of love when none is there to call their own, and so they think the thought of love alone. What's your pleasure? They choose to leave it flat and punctuate the end. We're just friends and that's all for now. Of thoughts that burden us, unload. Two lovers on tomorrow's road. We're off to run a good race. The ones that we embrace, to the ones we never hear about again. They mean us well, but we know secrets lovers never tell. We know the precious secrets all too well. That's why we say we know the secrets lovers never tell. This is sort of a sing-along. Am I going? This is very easy to learn, everybody. The shared moment is now. Grasp hands and hold on. Okay? The shared moment is now. Grasp hands and hold on. It's late and I'm ready to drop a dip in the ocean, then bed. The party continues without me now. Now may I vanish instead. The shared moment is now. Grasp hands and hold on. So much I'm waiting to do. I'd better attend to my plans. I started 1,000, accomplished 10. Now must I go back to work? The shared moment is now. Grasp hands and hold on. The shared moment is now. Grasp hands and hold on. Can we all hold hands? That's what we do in the lab. This is also there. And we all give our...
You're listening to Peter Dizozza, everybody. I'm going to be coming around with the mandolin tip jar. This gives a contribution of $5 per set. The money goes to the performers on stage. these kids think about it as like.
Oh, good. So, grasp hands and hold on. Oh, boy, I gotta go. No, I'm gonna stay. I think you should.
Yeah, you want to go?
I don't want to go. I want to stay. I want to hold everybody's hand.
Hey, Pete. All right, well.
Yes.
I wish I could do some magic.
When I touch them, I feel happy inside.
Hey, there's only one magician here.
Yeah, I know. Which
Hold
one
on.
magician of the house?
House magician.
Okay.
So that's.
So, what's next?
Oh, hands were grasped. That's very
Sam.
He's running I want to touch Sam too. I actually want.
We all want to touch Sam. Good luck. Okay, so everybody later on.
All right, everyone touch Sam.
There.
Everyone touch Sam. Make sure you touch Sam.
Okay. So, what's our next ballad for the day? Oh, I wanted JP. Vision Quest is next. We have two more, I think. Then we'll do Vision Quest and then Bok Choy.
Oh yeah, I love that song.
Bok Choy being what everybody wants, what I want actually. It's the only thing I want. In fact, it's so simple. And then afterwards, what do you want after that?
And another day goes by and I'm that much better. There's a storm cloud in the sky, so we're that much wetter. Going crazy is no more a creative option. Everybody knows a score, and we all have gumption, but we all could use some time to ourselves. Make a lame excuse and take a rugged hike through the forest. Through the forest. Swirling birds, they were angry swallows. They were scattering their souls to rejoin in clusters. I did not mean to disturb them, though they sensed a cat that the cat would find their nests. For in fact, I did, and the goose eggs rolled to level ground. Should I put them back in feathers? They were paradise, lost and found. Baby birds in flight. Another day goes by and we're that much better. There's a storm cloud in the sky, so we're that much better. Going crazy is no more a creative option. Everybody knows a score, and we all have gumption, and we all could use some time to ourselves. Make a lame excuse and take a rugged hike through the forest, through the forest, through the forest. Oh. All right.
This is from the last dodo. It's the end. Summing up what everybody wants. Oh, okay.
The next act.
And our next act is the Flying Dodo Society, but that's existed for many years before the dodo was ever in Portugal.
Oh, can I do backups on this?
And the dodo moved to Madagascar later, and then the Explorers Club, which is another, but not as exclusive as the Flying Dodo Society. But the explorers did search as hard as they could, and the one who found him, of course, was Porky Pig. Porky in Wacky Land, the last dodo. Every time I look at you, because the world changes.
So happy, it feels
there are millions of dodos now.
Every time I look at you, I say, out and about we go, out and about they go, out and about like a shadow without a doubt. Hold me, come save me, enfold me and take me, oh save me, come take me, stand outside and wake me with bok choy when when a man goes a birding, bok choy when his muscles are hurting. You're here, so he's flirting. Other birds find it disconcerting. You sigh when it's my masturbation. You cry at a crass contemplation, where each from a fetus take your place in the space between us. You call for a new demonstration. Your cause for an emasculation. You've given me hope, you've given me love, you've given me joy, and all I really want is bok choy. All I really want is bok choy. You came in with no doubt about you. You shame me till I shout without you. You know me, you've known others like me. It's lonely, but it clears the psyche. You give me love, you give me joy, you give it right here on the street. You know my work is not complete until I'm dancing to the beat of bok choy. It's a new constellation, bok choy, it's a new expectation. You're born out of boredom, they're fun, touchy, but you can't afford them. These laws coming at you, bok choy, your cause. Oh, and I because you're giving me hope, you're giving me love, you're giving me joy, you're giving for a piece of bok choy, you're giving for a piece of bok choy. I know you want to see me, but you treat me like a piece of bok choy. That's right, it's a sad situation with a messy complication, and it answers to the name of bok choy.
Thank you, JP. Thank you, Mike Hill. Thank you, Kimberly Mossel. Enjoy.
The immortal Peter Dizozza, everybody.
And thank you, Peter Dizozza. And thank you, Peter Dizozza.
Thank you.
We are at the Winter Antifolk
Enjoy the
Festival.
rest of the evening. Thanks, Ben.
We will be back with just a bit with Flying Dodo Society. If you are here also performing for the John Berger.
I got a CD of the recording. I got your.
We were in.
We couldn't hear them on. No, that's what I'm saying.
He didn't have it connected.
Well, that's because he wanted me to hear.
Oh, cool.
Got it.
Hi. Hi.
All right, everybody. Welcome again to the SideWalk stage, Myron the Magnificent.
Drag him into this. We had to convince him. There was a committee that was formed to impress upon him how much we wanted to pay tribute to him. And after putting up great resistance, he finally acceded to the wishes of the committee.
$3 check.
So we're going to do the tribute, and there's a lot of people on the list, and we're going to kind of like go for about 5 minutes per person, give or take. You know, everything's a little bit fungible or whatever, but you know, if it feels like things are dragging, then speed it up. But I can't imagine how it would be. But we're going to start off the John Berger tribute with a magic trick. This is a trick. This is a trick in which a member of the audience will be vivisected live in front of you. I used to do the double flaming sword vivisection out in Vegas, until I accidentally singed the hair of an audience member. Until that lawsuit is worked out, I can no longer use pyrotechnics. So now I vivisect audience members with rope. With rope, ladies and gentlemen. And I need a volunteer who would like to be vivisected. I need a volunteer who would like to be vivisected. I need a volunteer. And I need some people who would like to help vivisect. Me! I need one other vivisector. Okay, Mr. Black.
Mr. Black. Get up, get it.
Mr. Black. Where's the sweet spot?
Okay, you're in the sweet spot. Okay, madam, if you could stand right over here, madam, and you can face in. Stand there, and then right here, and then you can just face in this way. Right, like face me. Okay, where's our other vivisector?
Whoa.
You can stand right here and face the other assistant. Now, like I said, I'm going to vivisect. We are going to vivisect John with these ropes. Mr. Berger. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass these around like, ooh, hold on to the ropes here, and you hold on to the ropes here. Now I need to explain that this is the trick that I used to perform with my assistant, the lovely Vera. So we would be the vivisectors. And as you may notice, Vera is not here tonight. She left me. She left me for doing the stupendous, that rat bastard! But don't worry, I've mastered the vivisection trick, no problem. I can do it on my own. I'm a great magician. I can do it without the lovely Vera. So let's see, what we do is... How many times have you done it? You're gonna pull, when I say, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and when I say the word pull, you guys are gonna pull as hard as you can forward, and the ropes are gonna come right through John. Okay, no, I think I have to do, wait, there's one thing that I have to just, I'm not sure what that is, but don't worry about it. Okay, so on the count of 3, but only when I say the word pull. Pull as hard as you, okay, no, not now. I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and then you're gonna pull when I say the word pull. Are you ready? 1, 2, wait a second, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I know how to do this. It says vivisect an audience member who is slender of girth. Okay, no problem. It says vivisect an audience member who is modest and quiet. All right, I got that. All right, forget it. I know how to do this. Sure. Okay, first of all, what I need to do is I need to secure the rope. So you give me one rope. Hold that like that. Hold like that. Now, when I say the word pull, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, pull. Yes, and pull as hard as you can. Yes, both ropes, but only when I say the word pull. 1, 2. Oh, I forgot to do the survey of what you've eaten today. Have you eaten anything unusual? Anything fried? Anything straight? Oh my God. I've never had to disqualify a candidate. Never mind. When I say the word pull, 1, 2. Oh, I forgot one other thing. Are you feeling relaxed? You gotta relax. Shake it out.
Maybe there's another day to do this.
Shake it around. Let me see it in the hips. You gotta relax, or else you'll get stuck in the gizzard or the kidney or something like that. Shake it, baby. All right. You ready? This is gonna be it. I need a drum roll from everybody in the audience. This is gonna be it when I say the word pull. Okay, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, pull, and then you pull as hard as you can for it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, pull! Ladies and gentlemen, the Berger has been vivisected right before you. Everybody put your arm up in the air. Thank you for your applause. All right, get out of here. Okay. The first participant in the tribute to John Berger tonight is another SideWalk Cafe poet, Mr. Oliver Baer.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to read stuff. I figure no tribute of John Berger should be complete without a version of John Berger dancing. So I'm going to start off with a dance. It's my John Berger.
Just like John.
Yeah! All right, now I'm going to read stuff. So I think this is appropriate. John has don't think it's dignified enough to call this thing a book. A Xerox bunch of pages describing him. It's called White Trash, like me. I'd read this, but I don't think that really tributes him, so crap that. Typical John, I was writing down what I was going to read in my book, and he leaned over and went, you're writing that down that small? Haven't I told you to write stuff bigger so you can actually read it when you're on stage and you don't fuck up? So, fuck that.
I do know better.
Yeah. So, One of the great things, if you know John, is he can't resist passing out flyers for his next show. Which, by the way, at this point, I'm sure there will be, if there's another next John Berger thing in the festival, I don't know, but he and I will be next showing sometime in March. I think it's March 22nd. The convenient thing about these flyers is they have poems on the back. So I happen to have flyers that I will be reading from, but I couldn't just leave it there. So I created my own thing from John Berger flyer poems. So the question is, do you want the flyer poems first, or do you want my version first?
Flyer poems first.
Okay, flyer poems first it is. So it turns out, 3 of the boys I fucked back in high school have come out as homosexual, which, if I'm being honest, makes me really anxious. If having sex with me was enough to turn 3 hot-blooded American straighties, what does that say? Do I turn boys to gay men? What is wrong with me? I am very uncomfortable with this turn of events. I'm anxious about my activities, and I'm afraid, very afraid, of what this portends. Somebody's gonna have to give me a heads up when it's like 4 minutes in. Or you could say 5 if I get 7 minutes. My friends don't speak of you, and your pictures have mysteriously disappeared from their frames. The books you underlined collect dust beneath the bathroom sink, leaving holes in my shelves, growing ripples in my placid pool. My boss invites me to no family events, and I get half as many calls as I used to. The drips and ticks and clicks through the weekend are blinding, and the smell of Clorox has finally replaced the bathroom's cat shit stink. And our bedroom seems huge, as if something more than you is missing. Do you guys actually want the titles for these pieces of crap? I mean poems? No. The first one was called Joy Boy. That one was called The Empty Spaces. This one's called Consider the Brick. When you describe the brick, think of all the details you can. Its history, its color, dimples, weight, depth, heft, and the very spiritual nature of the brick. Do not waste time describing the blood of brains caked upon it. Lesser artists will cover that. Heights. This is heights. The ceilings are high. Don't get me wrong, I love the place. I love that you love it. I love how you smile when you think I'm not looking. Foreseeing the memories we'll create in this our new home. I love the kitchen and I love the workroom. I love the guest room and I love the bedroom. I love the light and the warmth, and I love how you put touches up to show that it's yours, it's ours. It's more than a place, it's a home, a loving home. I love you. You've made the place a home for us and our family. I love it, but the ceilings are high. This one, I don't think this is a poem. I think it's an address, but I'll read it because I think it involves John Berger's mother. Predicto, One Bridge Plaza, 2nd floor, Fort Lee, New Jersey, 07024. Mrs. E. Berger, 132 Claremont Avenue, New York, 10027.
That was profound.
I know, that was the most profound one. 1 minute? All right. So, fuck these. We're going to what I wrote for John.
Yeah.
So it turns out, my friends don't speak of you, or of when you describe the brick, just that the ceilings are high in 132 Claremont Avenue, of how I light a bonfire to our love, while, oh my God, she screamed, fuck me harder, fuck me faster, do it to me all night long. filters through the walls. So that's certainly a baby you have there. A youthful joy boy to fill in the empty spaces when you used to consider the brick and steel that creates the heights of the city, while your new friend's funeral pyre shines over our renewed lovemaking. Now dance on your knees, everybody!
Thank you, Oliver. Next up to pay tribute is another Sidewalk regular of literary bent, Mr. J.J. Hayes.
Of bent literature. It's hotter than hell. But I am hindered. I am heading for heaven. I am certain. I am questing. I am straining for new heights, attaining them slowly. Slowly, step by step, inch by inch, I am reaching for Jesus. There are simpler ways to get there, easier paths on this road. I could ride a horse. I could ride hundreds of horsepower, barreling up this mountain, blazing a holy trail for all to see. But there are certain requirements for entrance to my destination. There are necessary strategies for thinning the herd. But I am a fatted calf, fated for redemption, if I have the gumption, and probably I am not really looking for Jesus. Probably Jesus is just another word for truth, and truth is just another word for Twinkies, and perhaps I am looking for God in all the wrong places. Perhaps I am seeking him on the wrong peak or with the wrong eyes. It hardly matters. The important thing is this voyage I am on. The important thing is the quest. And the sun beats down mercilessly. Holy smokes. I think I am blind. But soon I'll see. I'll soon see the light. I'm looking. I am reaching. I am striving and climbing for Jesus.
Bob, are you you're doing a poem, right, Bob? Or you're doing participating in the tribute? Bob Black is up next. You can see that we're well coordinated here at SideWalk.
Whatever. I will tell
that. So I wanted to do a poem, but that no one else would do from John. So like I tried to not do like Pizza Vargas Cadet and all that other shit. But then Rebecca gave me 2 poems that I'm sure someone else is gonna do. I know it in my heart. But I'm gonna do one that's really new, because it was written on January 26, 2015 at 1:51 p.m. It's called Buster. Your college dog is dead. That t-shirt you got as a gift from the girl who just thought of you as a friend, yeah, that one, has got a hole in the front from when you poked it too hard during spring cleaning. Your favorite snack food of yesteryear has been rebranded, gone bankrupt, and is now unsatisfyingly back, aiming itself at a nostalgia market that wants to relive the glory days. Rejoice in a past gone golden, hazy, limited to sound bites and snapshots of better times. They may have been better. They may not. It doesn't matter either way. They were then, and now they're gone. And either way, you won't ever be able to walk those hills again with Buster, because your college dog is dead. No, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. No. Do it. Do it now. Do it fast. Do it hard. It's not too late to do it. Do it good. Do it already. Do it today. Do it before it does you. And do it well. But not at the expense of not doing. It's more important to doing than not doing. Or thinking about doing, or talking about doing. Or look, just do it, all right? The it, even, is kind of irrelevant, insignificant, and unimportant. Something that what you should, and before you can regret it or question or talk yourself down. Do it, whatever it is, even if it's me. Get it done. No, it's okay. No, thank you. No. If you guys could just not do that. Thank you. Fuck you, poem. You're not good enough. Not clever enough. Not beautiful enough to make my point. Change the world. Win her love. Why couldn't you be better, poem? Why couldn't you have been written with more goodness baked in the lines? Wouldn't it be better if you were more lyrical, more mellifluous? More potent? You stupid fucking poem? Fuck you! Why didn't you improve yourself when I was writing you? Why did you get fixed while I was editing you? Didn't you know what I was getting at when I wrote you down? Fuck you, poem. I hate you. And I'm never reading you when you're published in my folio.
Bob Black! Paying tribute to Mr. John Berger here. The next person on our bill here is intimately familiar with the man being honored. He is familiar with his artistry. He's familiar with his motives and his aromas. Would you please welcome Mr. Barry Bliss?
Thanks. It is very strange to say these words, honest words, thoughtful and true, that are in no way mine. I'm no Cyrano, for sure, as my nose is quite delightful. But I am certainly not a Christian, a handsome, empty vessel to be filled by another. How can I justify faking my way through this play, reading another's words as my way forward? This is bullshit. Why can't I just say the words from my heart, with my own rhythms and turns of phrase? Why must I be some puppet whose spine is replaced by another's hand? Why can't I express myself as I, me, myself? One of those has got to be right. At 16 in high school, with a pestilent post-pubescent body that defied revision, and a self-esteem that deified revulsion, I conquered my fears and my frustrations, and my sincere foundation belief that nobody understood me, and that I was destined to be alone. And on a Tuesday morning, I asked Deborah Grayson out on a date. She didn't know what to say, hemming and hawing, and finally admitting to having a crush on my good friend Jean-Pierre, But not having anything else to do on Saturday afternoon, with no competitors for her romantic attention, she finally relented and gave me my shot. The week passed. Like an isolated eternal instant, I kept my own high-amped counsel, not wanting Jean-Pierre to hear the girl of my dreams thought him the boy of her dreams, not wanting my parents to know all the intimate details of my non-love life, and not wanting my grade advisor to give me a new birds and bees discussion. Still, I had to tell someone. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday sped by eagerly, but every second in every class held me back, keeping me further away from my weekend, from my date with Destiny and Deborah. And there's more. When the sunny Saturday finally came, she was radiant and star-boring into the crater of my day. I didn't say that, of course. I said, "Hey." "Hey," she replied, and her skirt swishing, my heart wishing, we walked shoulder to shoulder, the 3 blocks to the movie theater. It was a lame flick, and it was my choice, but we cracked jokes about it, and around when there would have been an intermission, if it were the 30s, I pulled out a 40 and a couple plastic champagne glasses and toasted to our good health. The 40 came from my Uncle Murray, who liked to think himself smooth with the ladies. When I confided in him about my weekend plans, he told me, "Nothing says lovin' like something with some liquor." And before rushing over to meet the girl, he took me shopping. The plastic glasses were my idea. I wasn't a big drinker, neither was she, but the movie couldn't occupy our full attention, and both of us knew at this aspect of teenage years, Deborah and I took in a lot more than our slight intolerant body weights should allow. Deborah was the first to giggle uncontrollably at the screen, but I soon followed suit. The movie ended, but we couldn't tell. We were busy snorting at things that weren't funny to the others, staring at us as they left the matinee, while we two, scrunched in our balcony seats, laughed and joked and spoke of things important to us, and shared and talked about cabbages, kings, walruses, and the Beatles. "I like the Beatles," she said. I did too. We had a lot in common. Walking her home by the park, I tried to hold her hand, and she tried to lean into me, I think, but youth and inexperience and lack of coordination kept us from making the connections we'd been waiting all our lives for, until finally, at 81st Street, beside the Museum of Natural History, which I hadn't visited since pulling Michelle Caliendo's bra strap in 6th grade, we stopped. And I leaned in, and she leaned in, and somehow, in some way, still mysterious to me, I kissed the first girl I'd ever dated. Not much happened after that. We were already near her apartment, and much as I wanted to go upstairs for some soda or anything she'd offer, I had too much malted in my bloodstream and in my bladder, and I didn't know if I wanted Deborah's dad to see me bringing his oldest daughter home midday, drunk with me with a piss hard on like nothing I'd ever had before. When I delivered her to her door, she gave me a peck on the cheek, waved to her doorman, and went upstairs. I rushed into the center of the park and took the mother of all leaks. On Monday, I heard that Deborah had gotten grounded, which made me the rejection hurt a little less. Later, when I saw her in the halls, I acted totally cool, but could feel my heart shattering any illusions that I would get out of junior year with one iota of confidence left intact. I knew that nothing would keep me together a month later when I saw her holding hands with Jean-Pierre. Had she been using me all that time? Had she made me ask her out just so she could get her clutches into my best friend? It didn't matter. I still have memories of the day, and the park, and the Colt 45, and the lousy movie whose name to this day I still can't remember. And I guess that'll have to be enough. Oh wow, there's still more. One Sunday afternoon, after playing hard to get for a full 25 hours, I called Deborah to see when we could do it next. In hushed tones, she explained she didn't think it would be a good idea for us to see each other again, but that she had a really nice time, and she hoped we'd still be friends. I could never prove it, but I thought I heard her father, a man I'd never met, breathing in the background. She said she had to get off, and I held the phone for what seemed like minutes after she hung up. I have one more. Oh, this is it. The tree we planted at my boy's birth still grows upward, outward, increasing its influence and health, while my boy long ago stopped. His plateau was so long ago, while that tree continues to climb. And the tree is lovely, and I'm glad we lay that seed, and I'm proud that something I brought into the world had attained such heights. But I just wish it had been my son, and that he'd gotten bigger, stronger, always rising, never coming down, until well after I'd been placed in pine.
Nice.
Thank you, Barry. That was nice. I'm just struck that, one of the great things about SideWalk Cafe is that we are, as I'm sure everybody here knows, all sort of one big happy family, and it's really nice to see all these people who all interlock and everything. Oh my God, I'm getting really emotional. And I'm thinking about that because of everybody's participation so far, but the next participant certainly fits into that category as a part of our big family, Peter Dizozza.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Well, John Berger has a great wealth of poetry, and he's begun to sing as well. I'm very happy to hear these poems with music behind them and the way songs are formed, and we're seeing it organically happen here at SideWalk, thanks to the band interaction and most recently just Sanjay and John Berger on Friday night. It was great. So I'm taking from the great American novel Floyd's Lament, because it talks about us and them. Of course, we all know there are two kinds of people in the world. There's us and them. For years, I've been a strong proponent of us. But lately, I've been reconsidering. They've got the better shoes. Their girlfriends are prettier. They play basketball far better than we ever could. They have bigger houses and nicer neighborhoods. But there's more. Their food is tastier, though you are hungry an hour later. They dress better. They're good with money. Hell, they run both the banks and the communist menace. Their whites are whiter, and they're more loyal. And don't forget, they have more orgasms. They build the best temples. They're ruthless adversaries. They win all the wars. Their computers are first rate. No doubt about it, I'm switching to them. They say the grass is always greener. Well, whose lawn do you think it's on? So thanks, John. That was my pleasure.
You need to stand? Okay. Speaking of a member of the SideWalk family, here's one of our most core members, Miss Debbie Dalton.
I almost brought up here a banjo price list. That's something else I have. But luckily, I'm smart enough to look at the page before. Maybe I get to break something. When I first came here, John Berger used to break shit all the time. It's a lot of fun to watch him. He and I go way back. Way before here, for me. I think we met at the C Note.
That's what I think.
That's what I think too, as I thought about it. He and I, remember one time we were talking across those tables, they had those long tables, and there was this woman sitting between us, and we were like talking and back and forth, and then she said, "Oh, I'll move over," and both at the same time. I said, "No, it's okay, we're done." It's like, you don't have to. Another time he sweat in my beer glass.
I can't believe that.
Yes. One time I asked the waitress, who I think her name was Sheena at the time. Anybody remember Sheena? Hello, Sheena. I can talk and tune at the same time. I told her that I wanted to buy John Berger a beer or something, and she went over and asked him if he wanted a beer, and he asked if he could have breakfast. And she said no, which was kind of rude. I would have, had I had known, I would have let him have breakfast. What the fuck, it's only $7. But my favorite story is at DTUT. I used to have a band. There was this other woman I used to play with, musical partner. Her name was Steph Stewips. Well, our name together was Dalton Lee. And she didn't want to come down here, so when I came down here by myself, I got my own gig here, and we were sort of done. But we still would go to this other open mic, DTUT, and she would ask me to play with her, and I was sort of afraid of her psychosis, shall we say. So I didn't want her to have an episode in front of my brand new friends, so I always would say yes. And John, for months, had already said, you know, you could kick her to the curb, you don't really need her. But I would say yes, and finally one time she was asking me, and right directly behind her was John, just standing there, not knowing what he was doing, and looking at me, and I was looking at him. She said, would you play? I would like to do this song. And I was looking at him, and finally I just said to her, you know, I really don't want to, I'm tired. And she never asked me again. So thank you, John Berger. Pushing my career forward as that woman. So you asked me to do this one. As I listened to it, there's bass in there, John. I have no bass, so I'll do my best. She wears sparkly eyeliner, not for how it looks, but so I can see in my inner mind the stars when I go to sleep. She wears a bright red sweater and a long slit skirt, and she asks about my sign, my risings, and my familiar. I'm not familiar with that term, I quip. She looks at me as if stupefied. I miss you. The other one, she wears the tight skirt and the thong underwear. Take my advice, she says. You never want to wear thong underwear. She looks and grins. Do you? No, I agree, I don't. They're pretty colors, though, she told me. want to see? They are pretty colors. The bra, too, frilly, not like what's underneath. For one so soft, she's very athletic. I really miss you. She says that she was raped when she was very young. 13, she says. I was taken when I was still a teen. I didn't like it, she says. I keep hoping the next time will be better. It'll be different. I have to wear bigger glasses, I think, when I'm doing this for people. She shrugs and she looks at me. Sitting, waiting, wondering. Sometimes is when evening rears and I will try to take her and I can't even see it here. And I try to take her out and then I'll be any different, any better. Better. Good grief. I miss you. She is blonde and beautiful and bouncy and busty and Botticellian and barely out of high school, out of college. No, I said high school, I'm sorry. I know John Berger. Doesn't have to rhyme, does it? She's a graduate. Gregarious. Gorgeous, growth-oriented, both financially and emotionally, generous. And well, she's great. She's sweet and smart and strong and strange, and she's stuck on me. She is wonderful. She is bewitching. She will wear the white on Wednesday at our wedding. And all I can think about, even after all this time, this entire eternity apart, it's just how much I miss you. John Berger.
Debbie, Dalton. Awesome. Some of you may not be aware that the majority of the documentation of this scene over the last 20 years, and it's been quite a amazing scene with a lot of people coming through here who've gone on to do incredible things, and a lot of people are still here on a regular basis. But most of that documentation was done by John Berger, who has edited at least 3 different zines, I think, about Antifolk and SideWalk Cafe. There's a picture of a cover of Antimatters over there, and Antimatters was what, like, John, 93 to when? 96 to 2000, and I believe that almost every issue was digitized by Peter Dizozza, and they are online and you can read them, and they're awesome. I mean, they are kind of like the printed manifestation of what goes on here, and they're crazy too, but there's all kinds of great artwork. I mean, a lot of Jeffrey Lewis's original early comics and art are in Antimatters, and John was the editor of Jeffrey Lewis and other people. I don't know, there's a Kimya Dawson article, so maybe she was reporting to John as Cub reporter back then.
Everyone reported to John Berger in those days.
Everyone did. And then he did others, and he did urban folk. Some guy named Herb Scher got his start as a photographer through there. And most recently, he has been editing the online blog at the SideWalkNYC.com website. So the whole history of SideWalk Cafe, which is very rich, has been kept by John Berger. And now others are doing video documentation, and it's really cool how the community has kind of like created its own archive. Next up in our tribute is Mr. Joe Yoga.
Thank you. Your tepid smattering of applause means everything to me. The gays. The gays. The fucking gays have got to stop making me fuck them. With their pretty eyes, and their gorgeous tans, and their fucking rock-hard pecs. Jesus Christ, they have to keep it in my pants. How dare they make me fuck them like that? So sweet, so loving, making it all seem so magical and gay-tastic. Damned gays. The fucking gays. They're just completely kissable, and they have to stop, because I can't. John Berger wrote this poem for you. Pablo Picasso was called an asshole like 8 times a day, sometimes thrice before breakfast. From birth, this unjustifiable prick would lord his magnified genius over the rest of us, redefining art itself, sometimes in his sleep. He was called an asshole day and night and day, whether working in watercolors or chat charcoals, pouring coke into his studio. He was named a nasty man, described as a dick. Pablo Picasso was always called an asshole. But that's all right. It didn't stop his fame, his fortunate force of accomplishment. His announced assholery never stopped a single Sally from getting in his pants. He was beloved and astonishing despite being an ass. I aspire to that. I want to be a man respected regardless of his horrible behavior. I seek stardom and adulation without an instant of effort made towards another human being. I seek to be so great that the world loves me despite myself. I want to be called awful but still be called. I want to be an asshole but still be loved. It will happen someday. I've got half of it down. When they syndicated Bosom Buddies, one of the finest shitty sitcoms in the 70s, 80s, they presented it with a brand new theme song that had actually been the original. though they perhaps thought they had got it right the first time, it was not as good as the one that had aired when the series was fresh, performed by a local artist in a New York state of mind. Why would they mess with the show? In that second wind, they mess with our childhoods. How I love those days, treasuring the boys' adventures under pressure and their honesty tested so often. I missed the show as it was meant to be when initially presented. Had they not butchered the past, had they left that tender moment alone, I would have watched those reruns over and over again. But now, I don't care anymore. Thanks. I'm gonna do one more. She asked why I was being weird, and I said, I'm not being weird, you're being weird. She begged to differ, looking at me like I was the crazy-eyed, lust-struck, incontinent stalker, which, while technically true, is not the only way to interpret the state of affairs. She had no clear evidence, after all, to support the supposition that I was acting off. She had experienced no baseline behavior to prove that the me that she was currently seeing was not the real me. She didn't even know my real name, though that was not a fact that I was at the moment ready to share. Whatever, Henri, she said, shaking head, trying to get away from me. She was moving so fast, she tripped over the styrofoam hookers I dropped while entering the room. And let me tell you, she looked really weird while doing it.
Yeah, just leave your everybody leave your papers on the floor. We want it to feel like it normally does around here. Alex Norelli, are you here?
Welcome, Alex. John Berger, you're mine, man. We had this ongoing sort of thing. Supposedly there's supposed to be a dance-off sometime in the next 100 years, but...
It's gonna happen!
It's gonna happen. You don't know when, you don't know where, but it's gonna happen.
I got a cramp right now, but totally, someday!
Yeah, you've always have cramps. Maybe you should have more electrolytes or something.
Wings.
So I went through a bunch of John Berger poems trying to find some more pensive ones that were like, ones that aren't necessarily ones that he would yell, but it was hard to find. So I searched for 30 days and 30 nights, and I found one poem that was very quiet. It was called Imagination and Excuses from June 30th, 2012. The boys who promise you the moon are liars, or misleaders at the least. If they had moons to offer, why not simply wrap and present? It's because they don't have no moon, stupid. They never do. If they had stars in their pockets or even in safes, gravity would ruin their property. The boys with promises have little to provide, but imagination and excuses. It is the problem with all boys who are poets and poor and promisers of the improbable. I went through and just found all the poems John wrote in June, because in June of different years, because for some reason that just seemed like a good thing to do. This one's called Misunderstood. And I always enjoyed John Berger's cynicism, how he just it's like he's not putting it on, it's just the way he is. And it's like the most honest level of cynicism I've ever seen. It's like a really it's just a really, you should be in the Smithsonian. Misunderstood. The novels you write are not the novels anyone cares to read, which might be your intent, as your art may be too sophisticated for the huddled masses yearning to be free of inconvenience. Your work is for better people, theoretical people, people who deserve your brilliant thoughts and ideas as opposed to all the folks whom you actually know and who have actually tried to slog through your text. They were not good enough for you. They do not appreciate what you produce and never will. You might as well accept it. You're before your time, and your novels will not be published while you're alive. You won't be published anytime afterwards either. But at least you won't live to see it. Okay, this last poem, it's not a last poem, but this poem is actually called Alex Norelli. And it's a very famous poem because it's when I knew that John Berger was not just a friend but an enemy. Okay, Alex Norelli. Alex Norelli came to my show and then got pissed when I didn't go to his because I had better things to do. So he's boycotting me in the most passive-aggressive way. I'd love to see you go. I'd love to see your show, he says, but my twin sister is on her deathbed. Whatever, I know what's going on. Alex Norelli is missing my show, cutting off his nose to spite my face. My face is unspited, spite-free, facially unspited, whatever. He is missing out on what is no doubt a life-changing experience. He is missing me play with my band, and we don't suck. Alex Norelli is at serious risk of embarrassing himself before his peers by missing Juan Berger play at Tuesday, August 26th at the SideWalk. Don't be like Alex Norelli. Be careful. Be aware. Come to my show. This is another poem. This is actually written not in June, so I shouldn't be reading it, but I will. History will reflect poorly on this show. The reviewers will not know what to make of the self-reflective nature of the words or the hypercritical tone of the narrator. Who surely could have spent more time on the content and less on the abuse of himself, others, the audience, and history itself? The stuttering, the sexism, the stagnancy of theme, and senselessness in story, all will serve the gods of entertainment quite poorly. The show, simply put, will suck. History will not speak well of this performance, for history has high standards and quick judgments that are slow to change, and there is every reason for you to get up in the middle and go on with your life. But keep this in mind, you will get what you pay for. And is there enough time for one more? I just picked this one because it's sort of like there's pizza in it. The nether regions of Newark. What we have before us is unacceptable. This thing will not do. Look ahead and imagine what will occur if we have anything but a zero-tolerance policy towards what we have seen. Do you understand this fate we face? If this goes on, a line must be drawn. We must say no. No to the words that oppress us. No to the things that enslave. We must allow nothing to get in our way. And they must allow us to return the pizza. This soggy old pizza, which smells like it came from the nether regions of Newark. At no cost. Look, the cheese is uncooked. Look, the crust is burnt. Look, there are these are day-old fish innards and not anchovies we requested. Look, look, look. Now turn away and refuse to face this thing today. Give it up and revert this pie of last reproach to the back room from whence it came. Send back this pizza of discontent. None here shall dine on it tonight, except perhaps the wolves and homeless that prowl about. We seek better fare, with more olives, and we shall feast. Thank you. John Berger.
Alex Norelli, everybody. Describe John Berger as a cynic. I don't know if that's true. Everybody knows that even though on the surface he's a cynic and a curmudgeon, if you just go even though everybody knows that John's a cynic and a curmudgeon on the surface, if you go 1 millimeter under the skin, he's a deeper cynic and curmudgeon. But if you go even deeper, then you find out that he's an even deeper cynic and curmudgeon until you get somewhere in the middle of him, right around the gallbladder, where you find out how kind and supportive he really is. And one person who's told me how much she admires John and has learned from him and benefited from his support is our next performer here in the tribute, Rebecca Florence.
Bullshit.
Well, it's fine, Len.
I didn't say that. Ever.
You said you want to be just like him.
I'm gonna refrain from saying what I want to say right now. Because I'm doing a tribute to John, I guess. What's up, John Berger?
You can do it!
You shut your fucking mouth. This is my time. I'm doing a tribute to you. Shut up. You shut right up. What a strange coincidence, she said. Seeing you here. You're not stalking me, are you? You've got quite the opinion of yourself, I answered, believing that I'm here in any way or shape or form because of you. I mean, you're right, of course, I continued. How could you not be? You are the reason I wake in the evening and sleep into dawn. You are the music in my coffee and the milk in my tree. You're the kind of girl that inspires me in all things legal, carnal, and otherwise. I am here solely because I thought there was a chance, a possibility, a slim opportunity that I might be able to see you and talk to you, to have your smile rest upon my eyes. I can only think that those dark ladies I pray to when you are not around, that they have fulfilled my wish. You're pretty full of yourself, though, to think all that. She laughed nervously. And walked off, prepared to hide her ego better in the future while I swore to myself to be less honest next time. That was about me. Thank you. This one is actually about me. It's called Florentine Assassin. I love this poem. When I killed you and tore you apart, when I killed you and sliced out your heart, when I killed you and fried up the bits, first I ate you, then went to defecate. When I killed you because you were mean, and then cut off the fat from the lean, I fried up some portions just because I could, and then when I chewed you, you tasted quite delicious, if I do say so myself. I'm not bad in the chef department. When I killed you to make my next meal, I didn't use poison. It has no appeal. I opted for bludgeons and knife work instead, and didn't let up until you were comatose, and soon after, expired, slaughtered, murdered, killed. When I killed you, I had no regret. But some days have passed, and now in my head are feelings that weren't considered before. Like, now that I've killed you, I can't kill you anymore. This is indirect. I'm not even gonna say the words, but there was a conversation that happened on FC. No, you should. I think you'll appreciate this, John. This is from August 20th, 2012. Do I have anything new? Do I have any new poems to read you tonight? What the fuck? What's wrong with the old stuff? What is going on in your life that you can't bear a moment's repetition of an evening of redundancy? What must I do to satisfy you? How much content need I produce to get you off my back, off my ass, out of my life? Fuck. Do I have anything new? New? For you? Yeah. I might be able to throw some things together. Yeah? Yeah, you like that, John? You wrote that. You know you wrote that, right? One more. One more? Okay. All right. Oh, I have to pick. Aw. Okay, so I'll pick something.
Half more.
Okay, I'm gonna scrap this. This one's really short, and then I'll do, because I really like this one. It was written on my birthday. Shut up. I love you.
I didn't say anything.
You keep looking at your phone like something's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. Nobody is calling you. Nobody is texting you. Nobody is spacing your book or spacing your my or twitting or grinding you. You aren't being texted or sexted or even hexed by anyone at all. No one wants to talk to you. Nobody cares. You are alone in the world with me here, and you are ignoring me, which makes it a wonder that I am willing to pay attention to you at all. You're lucky to have me, even though you don't really deserve me. I feel like I should have wrote that. Great. All right, this is my last one. This one was written on my birthday in 2011. When I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And it's actually like a good poem, so I'm really excited about reading it. The police found him, such as he was, in an abandoned corpse of a car, in hand-me-down jeans, and a look of shock on the rest of his face. He had, we learned, been daring more month after month for very many. He would wait well past dark until we all had found our separate dreams before he went to follow his. His diary uncovered incessant adventures as he dived into the deep in searching for sharks. And he found them, predators with rows of teeth, that chose to gnaw instead of bite, until eventually he found a chicken hawk. It was all there, in a diary, in a room, right next to mine. His cupboard leaning on our shared wall. Nothing needed to be decoded. His words were clear. His eyes were wide as he described what he wanted. And even when we were blind, no. We were blinded by our own hands, refusing to see what his classmates saw, what the night was witnessed with his enemies, what his enemies hated him for. He could have told us. He should have told us, though we were glad to ignore his truth. So long as I didn't have to be told, I was fine. But if I'd know, he might still be next door in his room. He could still be writing in his journal, sharing secrets we refused to hear. Thanks.
Our flow. All right, next up, the man, Benjamin Krieger.
This is a John Berger tribute, so I'm not going to say anything nice about John Berger, because that wouldn't be very John Berger-ish.
He usually does that about himself.
And I'm also going to read from a phone. We all know John Berger's a purist, so all you people who read from paper, I don't know what you were thinking. I will say this. I know that, on iPhones, when you're reading on at least the way my iPhone is set up, you can see the first line of what someone's writing, and then it blends their signature in there at the same, so you kind of see them both kind of previewed, and so it never catches me, it never fails to surprise me and catch me off guard that I see John's signature on there, and I think he's telling me, okay, Ben, sounds good. See you at SideWalk. Do you know that John Berger's writing poems? Yes, I know you're fucking writing poems. Sounds good. I'll get that to you for the festival. Do you know that John Berger's writing poems? Fuck yes! Jeez, why does he keep asking me this question? Anyway, there was only one poem of John's that I wanted to read when I knew this was a tribute. Unfortunately, it was not one of his best poems. So I asked him to rewrite it for me, and he did. And embellish it. Please forgive me for what I'm about to do. It's not going to be good. I may be insulting and difficult, and some of the things I utter may call into question certain important societal precepts that you would rather not consider.
it will be awful. No matter how much you prepare, you will not be able to anticipate the damage I am about to do. Still, for all we've been, all we could still promise to be, I beg that you will, in advance, promise that you will be okay with what is to come, and that I will be forgiven, and that you will stay. What do you say? All right. Doctor! Doctor, you have to help me. I can't stop talking about preteen girls licking sticks. Every day, in every way, I obsess over the images of children. Young, younger, youngest. All sucking pixies. Sugar melting in mouth, never resting until they're emptied out, and they're hyper running, skirts swirling about. I think of nothing else, dream only of these twisted desires, fantasize about these objects of fire, these short-lived, flirty, nubile vamps straining the cane, mainlining that white stuff. Dear God, good doctor, you have to help me. There is nothing else I can do with my days and nights. No matter how I try to fight it, I can only devote my time to the delight in it, the thought of preteen girls with sugar sticks. Well, other things do occasionally cross my rabid mind. Sometimes I dream of carloads of sweet, underage innocents driving down US 322 in Pennsylvania on their way to some sugary theme park. Where they'll play and gamble and careen all day, their excited, flushed faces as they race excitedly down the Hershey Highway. Anticipating all the change that is to come. But then I regain focus and fantasize fingers grasping tubes, opening them up for all they have to offer. These thoughts, they dominate me, doctor, and I need your help to resolve my despair. So I thought I'd start by clearing the air and tell you that I have a basement filled with candied goods. Now, help me, doctor, and let me know. Do you know any buck-toothed, sweet-toothed children I can possibly invite over? I think you need to understand certain things about what just transpired, the words I said, the thoughts I conveyed, the concepts innuendoed. Well, they weren't mine. They were simply thoughts I found in a random book. An errant broadcast, a poem, some irresponsible asshole once let loose. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. It was mind control. It was a spell, blackmail, temporary insanity, a parasitic growth that forced me to do what I would never do under normal circumstances. Even consider I was playing a part, a mere actor, and certainly not the writer or the director of this terrible melodrama. I am not responsible. I was merely a conduit. It wasn't me who said that thing or did it or thought it. Please, I'll just let myself out now.
Thank you, Ben Krieger. I'm going to make a magical transformation now. Woo! I am now Myra the Magnificent. I am now Herb Scher.
Whoa! How did that happen?
And I was trying to think of some good John Berger stories. John and I've had a lot of adventures. There was a time John graciously drove me an hour out to Queens. We bought 600 decks of playing cards and loaded them back into his trunk. And for some reason, it felt very illicit, like, you know, in the middle of Queens loading stuff into a trunk, but it wasn't. We were just buying lots of playing cards. And another time, Barry and John and I decided that we were going to form, I don't know, I like to think of it as an antique company, but we were just going to the flea market together. So the car, all the stories with John involved schlepping. The car was loaded up with stuff, and we pull up, and for some reason the road was blocked off. Why was it closed that day? Do you remember? Security thing, or I don't know.
There was a parade of some sort.
Right, so we were trying to get to the flea market where we had to drop off all the stuff, and there was like a parade, and this like cop was there like saying, no, you have to go around. And he was actually a very pleasant cop as far as cops go. He was a young guy. And John, for some reason, decided that this was the cop he was going to choose to confront and give shit to. He was like the only nice cop in all of New York. And then I could see the steam level rising in John like this, and I was trying to do whatever I could to diffuse it, but I couldn't think fast enough. And I would go, John, he's trying to help us. And John would go, be quiet. And then finally, John basically told the cop like to fuck off, essentially. I mean, not in those words. And the cop was like still being very nice. And I was going, John, stop. And John just like totally lost his stack. And he started, the only time he's ever screamed at me was like, shut the fuck up! And then he turned to the cop and finally realized he was being an idiot. And he goes, officer, what can we do now? It was like, what can we do now to rectify this situation? And finally, the officer was very nice and he let us through.
Great story, pays me well.
Yeah, it was really good. No, don't worry. Don't worry. No, we're telling the truth here, John. I'm not trying to misrepresent you. I'm trying to speed this up, but I'm not good at that. So I started coming here in August of 2004. My brother got married in July of 2004 in Champaign, Illinois. And I, of course, went to the wedding, as one would to his brother's wedding. And, great wedding and all of that. We had a great time. I came back, and later on, my brother and sister-in-law were going to be visiting New York. And my sister-in-law said to me, by the way, I think John Berger hangs out at SideWalk Cafe. And I said, yeah, he does. You know John Berger? She goes, yeah, you met him. You were sitting at the same table as him at our wedding a few months ago. So there's this picture of John and I together at my brother and sister-in-law's wedding, like on opposite sides of the table. We didn't know each other, didn't speak to each other, and then met each other soon after that at SideWalk Cafe. And the final story that I'll mention is that one of the very first times I came here, I can't remember when it was, if it was the first time or the second time or whatever, but Sosei the Elemental Wizard was performing. And Sosei, this is good, remember this back in 2004, Sosei introduced himself as a gay Jewish rapper. And at that time, there weren't a lot of gay Jewish rappers around, back in 2004. And he was wearing like a button-down white shirt. It was very like contradictory to my image of rappers at the time. And so Sosei the Wizard was standing right here, and he started rapping. And right over here was a guy dancing like this. And it's that guy who was sitting in the back there, dancing in a herky-jerky motion. And I thought, I'm going to be coming to this place the rest of my life. I was like, if this is the kind of stuff that goes on there. And then eventually, I wrote this song. John, are you able to participate in this tonight?
I don't know if I should.
So this is a dance number. I used to say that John was the dance captain of our act, and that's why I wrote this song. And this will wrap up the tribute to John Berger tonight.
Dance tune.
It is a dance tune, and it was inspired by John Berger's dancing here at SideWalk. You did the monkey and you did the frog. You did the twist and you did the shrug. But now it seems those dances are through. So here's another dance you can do. I said, do the burger, do the burger. 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 Shake your hips and shake your thighs. Eat somebody else's fries. Do the burger with me. 7:30 on a Monday night. And on the stage is an amazing sight. The roundest man that you've ever seen is passing out his magazine. I said, do the burger, do the burger. 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 Shake your hips and shake your thighs. Eat somebody else's fries. Do the burger with me. Let's go now. do the burger, do the burger, do the burger. Take your hips and shake your thighs, eat somebody else's fries. Do the burger with me. In the basement, out or on the street, he stops and talks to everyone he meets. On the stage, he'll read a poem or two, and he will say that he wrote them for you. I say, do the burger, 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 do the burger. Take your hands and shake your thighs, do somebody else's fries. Do the burger with me one more time. I say, do the burger, do the John Burger, do the burger, shake your thighs, do somebody else's fries. Do the burger.
That's the John Berger tribute, everybody. This is the winner of Antifolk Festival 2015. We'll be back with Joe Crow Ryan in just a bit.
That's great.
Both alive.
Great, great, great.
It's like 2 doors down from where Shanae used to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that is.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of the same feel to it too, you know.
Nice beer.